Hi, Marek.
Koala.
And you work from home as well, right? Is it? Or
Yeah.
do
Like
you?
basically, yeah. The setup at the moment is I've got one employee, Paul, who's been working for like
Right.
a year. Before I had this guy, who was based in like southern Poland, and it was the first time I employed someone, and it didn't go very well, to be honest. He just like used to be in a big company, so he was used to this sort of like pretending, like basically just sort of not doing any work and seeing how far he could get away with it. Uh, yeah, but this new guy, Paul, he's amazing, and we meet once a week, like in the center of town, in like a kind of a cheap co-working space.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, I mean that's it's good for your like mental health to like go out and meet people because it's easy to just not see anyone. Like, but I started before we started doing that. I used to go to the cafe in the park near us, and just to speak to the guy there, and he's this like Romanian guy who's like obsessed with conspiracy theories, and he's just like telling me about what they called like the Rothschilds, like and how they're aliens
Oh,
and
oh
taken
yeah.
over, like you know
Of
all
course.
this shit. Like like yeah. But I loved it because it was like I could talk to someone who wasn't like my partner. Bit of
Yeah,
variety. Yeah. I had to
I
pay
know
for a
that
coffee to
feeling.
do it though.
Yeah, that was me in Berlin. That's exactly what I did in Berlin. I would go out to work outside, but now I'm like caved in for the last couple, 3, 4 years. I'm working inside. Do you think is there a work related improvement when you see people that you work with?
Mm, I haven't seen like a correlation. I think when there's a good day, it depends on the task, right? So sometimes I just need to get something done and then it's bad. To have like someone who you kind of need to engage with and talk to and stuff. But then when it's a collaborational effort, it amplifies it definitely. I've noticed. Yeah. Like there's been a few days with Paul when we've gone into the same. We've been sitting at the same table, and it's just way more productive.
Like Japan seems to be a special place for you, isn't it?
Yeah. I love Japan. Like, I went. I basically sort of used it as an excuse to go for work the first time. And then yeah, met the Roland people. I just like I was gonna go and meet some users, and I was gonna make some videos, like interview some people, like speaking in Japanese to kind of like show or like it would be interesting for Japanese people, and it'd be interesting for people from other places to know that Japan, like koala is not like US centric or whatever like that. And I thought it would be fun to do it, but I didn't really find any users who were like that good who wanted to do interviews. So I just started cold calling people at companies, and I just emailed I found the guy who made the SB404, found his name, and just like wrote to him, and yeah, he wrote back. So and then I met a few other people in other places. There was some cool. It was like something out of William Gibson or something. There's this company called Black Corporation. Have you heard of them?
Hmm.
They're a Russian synthesizer company based in Tokyo, and they make really expensive, like really compact analog synthesizers.
Hmm.
And I went to go and visit them, and like I said, it was like Blade Runner. It's like going into this like unmarked building in the middle of like downtown Tokyo, and there's just like circuit boards in their studio. It's like full of like shit, like synthesizers and like circuit boards, and like the one of the sort of like main tech guy, he met me, and he was like just like yeah, what do you want? Like he was really like like can you go away please? And then the other guy was amazing, but yeah, it was a really yeah, it was a cool experience. um, and then yeah, just
And
met like a bunch of different companies, and like I mean to be honest, there's not much scope for collaboration with a lot of companies. So, and also I mean the Roland thing was cool, but it was quite a lot of work, and there's other things I could have done. And it was like maybe it was good marketing, like it didn't really sell a lot more koalas. Like Roland paid a little bit of money, but not very much. and like they probably made a lot of money out of it. You know, a lot of people who had Koala would buy the SP404, and going in the other direction. Yeah, it's just oh well. But it was fun, and it was amazing to meet the guy, and it was amazing to go to the Roland, research headquarters and stuff like that. So it was worth it. But yeah.
And how did you find the SP guy?
I think I just Googled, like, didn't take very long. Like, it's easy to find things on the internet sometimes. And I think, I don't know if I just maybe just on LinkedIn or something, I sent a message. Yeah. But yeah. And then
did you meet him?
Yeah. Yeah, like we spent like the whole day just hanging out. He took so they're based in like Hamamatsu, which is like a couple of hours out of Tokyo, and it's where all the big music manufacturers in Japan are, except for like Korg, like Yamaha's there. I can't remember, but yeah, like loads of companies are there. And yeah, he took me for like really nice meal, and then we sort of drove to this like out of town to this studio. This like the lab, and we couldn't see obviously like the private bits, but we got to see like like a really nice tour. And then at the end of the tour, he like sat down and said, and he was like, "Yeah, we've got a proposition for Elf Audio," and then they just sort of presented a document saying like, this is like a collaboration proposal or whatever. And yeah, it was cool. It was nice to do it. It took a little while.
So that was the guy who made the most recent SP, right?
Yeah.
He's not the same guy that did the original ones, the 303s?
I don't know. Like, I would say no, because he's probably about 40. And I reckon that, the Doctor Sample, the SP202, or whatever it's called, I don't know when that came out, but I'm probably similar to him. Like, I think, maybe 90s, but like, he didn't do that. He would be too young, probably. Well, then Japanese people will look younger than they are. So, to me.
Might have been 60.
yeah, maybe. But that was cool. But he basically does. It's like for him, SP404. He sort of said it was like a bit of a side project, like a passion project, and the company wanted him to work on other things instead. So, but then I think that might have changed now because it's so successful compared to a lot of the other products he has.
Thanks to a collaboration with Elf Audio, we can now use our SP404 Mark II to control the awesome Koala app.
Kind of deviated a lot from the ideology of the previous SP generations because they crammed so much functionality into it and went this route of shortcuts, which is non-obvious and actually an example of how things get overcooked a bit.
To activate the sound generator, press Shift and record a setting.
I guess one thing they sort of need to stay true to the form factor, because it is that like part of the appeal of it for people is it's like the heritage of the 404. So it's sort of like, I guess that already sort of shoots them in the foot a little bit, like, because maybe if you wanted to add a lot more functionality, maybe you'd rethink it. Maybe you would do a big screen with a touch screen on it or something like that, or you would arrange controls around the screen, like or like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of an example like that they're able to push has like a screen under with some knobs under it, and everything lines up and they can be relabeled and they can be dynamic and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's like maybe a nicer approach. Like I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't got time to work all of these things out. But I've got an SP404. Like, I don't think I've made like any. I've definitely not made any music with it. Like, I barely got it working. I've got the P6 as well that I wanted to examine, like the sort of granular stuff to see, or just have a listen to it and see if it's fun. But I haven't. I've turned it on, but yeah, it's crazy. Like, I haven't got time for it. But it doesn't help that it's a little bit cryptic to use both of them. I think I used to have a Digitect, like an Electron, and I did actually make some music with it. I did sell it because I thought it was too complicated, but there were some things about it that made a lot of sense UI wise, I would say. They have these like, I can't remember if it's like 2x3 or 3x2 or 4x2 knobs, and they're labeled A to H or whatever, and everything corresponds in the UI, kind of like the Ableton thing, and it works. I thought that was nice.
Teenage Engineering is another example, I think, who tackled the complex, rather deep functionality, but still very obvious because they just stick to one layering of shift functionality.
Yeah.
So it's
and the color coding's nice in that.
color coding.
I bought an OP1 field and sent it back because I couldn't really afford it, and I was like, I'm probably not going to use it. But I did like the color coding stuff in it. But I mean, I would say that the sort of anti-example is like the pocket operators. You can't like learn how that works. You need to. I mean, like you can't work out how it works. You have to read the manual with that. Like, and you have to remember these things that you have to do. And it's just, I wonder if it is like it's part of the design. Like if it's intentional that it's like cryptic and you have to kind of like learn how to operate it. I mean, maybe so it really sticks in your head or something like that. I don't know, but I just found it very frustrating. Someone bought me one, and I've definitely made it make some sounds, but yeah, I find it very confusing.
And did I catch this? Come again?
They make cool sounds for sure.
The small one?
Yeah, the pocket operators. Yeah.
How do you like the engine there? I think it's a very low bit, like something like a 12 bit.
Yeah, it has to be. Oh, like the sampler one, it has to be because it has like no memory. Like I don't even know how those chips, they have like no memory on them. So I mean, very, very, like not even a megabyte or something. So I don't know how they crammed so much into it. It's pretty amazing. Some sort of massive technological feat, I would say, to do it. Obviously, the retail price is very different from the manufacturing price, which is, I think the margin on that must be like insane. If you remove the development time, like the material cost is like very low.
£2.
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah. Well, maybe 5 because that display is quite crazy, but yeah.
All right, it's custom. Yeah.
The CPU is like, they cost a pound or something. Not even in volume. So yeah, it's amazing what they squeezed into it.
And did I understand this correctly that your dad developed the Portastudio, the Tascam Portastudio?
Yeah.
One answer could now be fitted inside here. It's a self-contained recording studio designed to give the enthusiast access to some of the basic features of the real thing, but in a manageable, miniature package.
I don't really know much about the story, to be honest, but I think it's just this observation that you can have like, there are 4 tracks on a cassette tape, one for each side or whatever. And they're just like, a lot of the bits were already, already existed. It was just a case of like putting them together. But I don't know. I should probably. I don't know. It's like, when you have like when you live in a city all your life, like you don't go and see the sights. Like things that are very close to you. Like I should find out a bit more about it.
Because that's great. That's a legendary machine. It truly did democratize the recording.
Yeah,
this was the beginning of home recording.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it must have been like, I mean, if the previous alternative was to, well, I guess you could in those days you could always do like overdubs from tape to tape, and I heard people used to do that quite a lot, where you'd basically record your first take on a cassette, and then you'd have another cassette, and you'd mix your current playing with the next thing. Obviously, you can't mix it and do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like that sort of resurgence of the Portastudio now, because it's like quite a good sort of lo-fi.
Yep.
I remember when I was younger finding that one of the Portastudios we had at home, we didn't have like loads, we had like 3 or something like that. It had like you could change the tape speed, so you could record something and then like listen back to it faster. And I was like, whoa, I love that. Yeah, it's like
very speed.
Kids, that's amazing. A lot of fun.
Yep. I know a lot of people who enjoy like the very speed is actually super enjoyable, especially if you turn it down. Then the sound gets so crunchy and beautiful.
Yeah. And also you can like, if you're playing like instruments into it, you can like speed the tape up and then record to that and then pitch it back to where it was, and then you get like I guess a kind of like more bassy, more sort of slowed down. Yeah, that's quite cool.
And is it where, like, go ahead?
I was just going to say, like, I think I really remember people would do it with vocals as well. So you turn the pitch all the way down and then record your vocals onto the same, onto the track, and then you pitch it up, and it kind of moves you can make a sort of man sound more like a woman, or a woman sound like a chipmunk or something. So you change the tone.
I think this is how Matt recorded the Quasimodo tapes.
Makes sense. Yeah. So he just rapped really, really slowly. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Or I think he pitched down, so he recorded the beat, slowed it down, and then recorded the vocals. Just rapping a bit faster. Slower, and then you turn it up, and it becomes this chipmunk.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's like the canonical example of that thing. I really like that. I didn't realize it. I thought it was just like a pitch shifter or something, but that is quite good for rapping. It means you can get it a bit more precise. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, nice.
Is this like the origin, or did this influence your decision to democratize samplers now with Koala?
Nah. Like I think definitely making sort of things that make music and stuff was definitely sort of in my blood from growing up in a house like that. But it was basically just I'd quit my job and moved back to England, and I was kind of floundering, and I didn't know what to do in my life. And I was basically went back to, so I'd been a freelance for about 10 years before I had my job at Apple. And then the reason I took the job at Apple was because I didn't want to do freelance. I didn't want to work in the advertising industry doing like, helping Coca-Cola or, Nike sell more trainers or whatever. It's just like demoralizing. But then I came back from the job at Apple, and I just started doing the same thing again. I'm like, why am I doing, the whole point was to get away from it. So it's like, it was like a really like throwaway thing. So I'm just going to try and do this. I'm just going to try and make music app, because I made one music app about in 2008 or 9 or something like that, like on the iPhone, called Sample Toys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 1 week of work, and I think it made like $20,000 or something like that. And I was like, that's the best week of work I've ever done in my life. I mean, obviously I didn't make it in a week. It made it, over years, but still it's like, shit. Yeah, maybe there's something about me that makes it something about my skill set, which makes me good at making music apps. So I should try. I'll try it again because I found it fun and it paid the bills. And I was like, what? In my head, I was thinking, why didn't I just carry on? If it was such a good thing to do, feeling wise and like financially and stuff like that. Why in 2009? Why didn't I just make another one? It's like, why? Yeah, I mean, I did make a few other little things, but yeah, I didn't really concentrate on it. So sort of like revisit it 10 years later, and I was just going to make one app every 3 months. It took me 3 months to make the sort of basic version of Koala. Well, I've been thinking about it a lot longer, and then I was going to make another app after that, and then another app and another app, and it was just the first app that I got to. So I never got to the second app. And like people liked it, and they were like asking for things. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll carry on. And like, yeah, now it's like 6. I don't even want to think about how long. I think it's been about 6 years. Maybe it's going to be 7 soon. I don't know. But yeah, that's the long and the short of it.
And another interesting aspect is how certain things. So you did the sample toy. You did, I think, a very early synthesizer version. That thing in JavaScript, probably around uni time. Did you write a JavaScript synthesizer in university?
No, I made like a Java one.
Oh, a Java, not a JavaScript.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty ropey. It was like you shouldn't write synthesizers in Java anyway. But yeah, you couldn't do things like that with JavaScript. Was like, because I'm like, yeah, I guess 42 years old. Like 22 years ago, you couldn't do that in JavaScript. Like you could just about, do very basic things that, I mean, you could just even do in CSS now. So yeah, no, but I've written some stuff in JavaScript, or you can do this thing where you write it in C++ and then you can convert it to JavaScript. So I used that like I don't know if I released it, but like I made like a drum machine like that. But I used I made a web interface using HTML and CSS.
This gong thing, or which one?
No, that one as well. I mean, that's the same. That's the same. Same system. But yeah, the thing, it was called Bauble, and I think I made it for Christmas a few years ago. I don't remember whether I released it or not, but it was just like 808 style drum machine. Well, not exactly. It had like a 6-voice drum machine that was like drum synth. So you could do some like FM with it. I don't know. But yeah, like I enjoy making those little fun tools, and like the internet is a really good way to like let people try stuff. You don't have to install an app, and like phones are much faster now. So like it's crazy what you can do with with JavaScript now. Like
none of your stuff is all of your stuff is C++, right?
Yeah, it has to be basically, more or less. I think there's but it's like some people are starting to use a language called Rust, but I think the jury's still out as to whether it's better. But
I have no capacity to evaluate that.
Yeah, but yeah, for plugins generally you have to do it in C++, which yeah, it's fine. I'm not good at it, but I sort of know my way around it enough.
I think you're doing pretty fine with C++.
Yeah, like,
Koala doesn't eat resources.
Yeah,
like it's hardly.
Well, that's definitely something that comes from using C++ rather than something more primitive, but like more high level. But like, I don't know, like everything in Koala is like very basic, or it's built from very basic building blocks. The only thing that's complicated is the the split stems thing, which I don't even know how it works, because it's like it's the splitter. It's like an open source thing, and the time stretch algorithm that like that. Those are like quite smart things, but everything else is just like the same filter with the same delay line, and you can kind of combine these two things, like a filter and a delay, and like a couple of other basic building blocks, and you can just make like any effect. You can do so much. It's like very, very simple. Like there's not. It's just the big problem is how do you organize everything? Like how do you organize it conceptually? So obviously the design, but there's also how do you organize the code so you can so it doesn't go like, I mean, have you ever been a developer? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so it's just sort of like setting things up so you don't like, I like to sort of hack things together rather than architecting things. So like, you know, painting myself into a lot of corners, let me say.
But it is, and so I assume you have a proper like framework by now. At least that's what I catch for the UI. You're writing this yourself, which is ridiculous.
That's fine. Like, I mean, the drawing layer is like it's all good, and that works. And then you've kind of got like, oh, then now you have, once you can draw circles and rectangles and lines and stuff, you have to draw interface with it. So how do you organize and manage that? Or you make a tree structure like a DOM basically in HTML. Mm-hmm. So you have a root node and you attach children to that, and like, you know, one of those children will be like a window, and it will have a child called a close button, and you know, like, and then there'll be, you know, further children under that and stuff like that. And it's like, that's a sort of like standard way to do it. But then how do you organize like the data structures and stuff like that? And like, you know, there's certain ways I could have organized Koala when I started. It would have made a lot of things much, much easier, but it's not too late, but it's a pain it's like technical debt.
Mm-hmm. Did you go through some refactoring cycles already, or is it like this outstanding?
So many. Yeah, there's been quite a lot, but there's stuff that's like I don't really write a lot of tests. Paul writes tests. He's really good at it. He's like very, very strict with himself. So messing with stuff can be risky, and even with tests it can be risky. And to be honest, like, we've run into like quite a lot of things like that, even with code that's got, you know, surroundable tests. Like it's not, it doesn't make it immune. So I'm very, very nervous about doing big refactors, and in fact, like if you look at when Koala comes out, you'll see like, oh, it comes out about once every like 3 weeks or a month or something like that. But then you have these like dead periods where there's like 4 months where nothing's come out, and that's because I messed with something that I'm like nervous about releasing until like the beta testers have really like used it a lot and sort of ironed out everything. Because and then it's just like, it's still nerve-wracking because like I don't know how people like you guys, the beta tests, like you end up using quite a small subset, and people use it in all kinds of ways, and it's designed to be used in any, you know, the way that you want. It's not totally flexible, but basically put it on send it to the release branch or whatever, then you'll find out where all the bugs are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so and it's fine. Like people are like reasonably tolerant of that. So I don't. Yeah, it's a shame. Like maybe if it was like more expensive thing, people would be more upset. But
that's for like, I think this is one of the ways to. If you're looking for more bug reports, increase the price. Just like when
that's basically saying like, that in order to sort of manage all of that and have like more beta testers that I can basically use well, like, as in, you know, be able to collect good feedback from, and be able to manage it, you need like more like labor. Like we need another person on the team or whatever. I mean, not, you know, we're just two people, and like got to cut as many corners as possible. So releasing things that you're not 100% sure of to the public, you have to do it. I mean, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a choice. But that's it's fine. Like it seems like earlier on I did some pretty like really released some really big bugs. And now I know, you just got to check at least the sort of basics or whatever. And then, we do run tests all the time, and we do have beta testers, so a lot gets caught. So, but yeah, it's a bit of a frustration sometimes.
I mean, it's inevitable. They're even
it's part
biggest companies run bug updates, bug fixes. It's just as you said, you can't even predict all the scenarios. I guess like one of the givens of development is we call it wary eye, when especially when the front end developers in the web space, they kind of start developing in a way that it works, and then they stop trialing the interface in other ways, or they avoid a certain screen size simply because they know this will be trouble. And then it's like, it's good, it's good, I tested it, it's great. And then somebody opens it on the smallest iPhone and goes like, look, all the text is broken. There is exactly. All the interface is broken. It's like, right, I know. But it gets weird,
Yes, it's difficult. I mean, like they say that the trick is to like ask someone else, because immediately someone will just do something you weren't thinking of. But then, like I said, a lot of the, we've only got there's probably about 60 people on the beta thing, but probably only about 10 people are like really active with it.
Really,
but it's mostly within, let's say within AUM even, it's like quite, and like that's not very representative of the average Koala user. I think something like 10% of sessions are AUV3 sessions versus like standalone sessions. So
that's sobering, or that's interesting.
Yeah, but also, so to the point that when there's a bug with AUV3, I don't worry about it so much compared to a bug in standalone, because it's like you have to think like all the decisions come down to like what's going to like hurt the least number of people, or what's going to make the most number of people the most happy, and like using that as a kind of like guiding force of like what to do next is like seems to be sensible, and you just have to like be a little bit strict with it. So, like, I guess the vocoder thing, I don't know if you saw that. It just like put in a silly robot vocoder, and like that was a different thing. That was like, I do those little things to like keep Koala interesting for me. So I knew that I would have fun making a vocoder. So I did it to kind of please myself in a way, but most of the time it's just trying to make, the most number of people the least amount pissed off.
This topic of self-motivation. So you work for the most time of Koala's existence on your own, right? And this level of dedication is, I assume it is a full-time job for a couple of years at least, right? Yeah. So hundreds of hours per month, and years of dedication, which is either this territory of obsession,
Mm-hmm.
or a very smart way to motivate yourself to not lose interest in developing it. So how do you navigate this space? Like, how do you keep yourself sane?
Well, yeah, I think there is like an unhealthy obsession for sure. Like, it is, like I said, it's a full-time job, and I do, you know, get paid from it, and it covers everything. It pays for another employee for like he's only 4 days a week, but he's pretty expensive. C++ developers are expensive, so it's like it's worth it, and like basically there's just no way I could, if I wanted to, go and do something else, because I feel like a little bit the product is me, like not me, but like I keep it fun for people. I mean, maybe it would last a while if I didn't change anything, but I just feel like I'm always like stoking the flames, making it, keeping people on their toes a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about motivation. I've just sort of like turned into a monk about it. I just live and breathe it, and it's like, I would say, probably not healthy, but it's sustainable because I've been doing it for this long.
Exactly.
So,
By now it is I'd assume an integral part of you being like, people do jobs either because they love it, or because the offer is so good that people don't quit the job. They hate it, but the pay is great, and
yeah.
I'm not aware of an in between where people like, it's okay, but I also would like to, gotta be like at least a bit obsessed about that.
Yeah, the thing is, I like variation. Like, I like doing different projects. So I can do different projects within Koala, but I would like to do, very different projects that wouldn't fit into it. Just for, even just to know that I can still do something, like I don't know if I could still design something completely different. Because everything has the same, I only use one font in the last 5 years of my career. So, yeah, would be good. Good to mix things up a bit.
Those projects that you did, like the Google synth, the AI synth.
Oh, yeah.
That was pre-Koala? All of that was pre-Koala time?
I think at that point, either it's pre-Koala or I'd started designing Koala at that point. So, or no, I mean, it wasn't called, was it? Yeah, I don't know. I sort of had some very strange ideas leading up to it, but yeah, I think I was already sort of drawing pictures, trying to design at that point. That was it. I was working there, and I went in the lunch break because I was working in the office, pre-pandemic. I went and bought a pocket operator, like the Sampler pocket operator, and I'd seen what people did with it, and I just thought actually it's about the same size as a phone, right? More or less, the same order of magnitude. But why would you buy something that you kind of got something already more powerful that's pretty much the same shape and size, and it's got much better capabilities. So I could sort of create a similar experience. And I wasn't trying to clone the KO. I wasn't trying to clone SP404. I've never at that point I'd never been in the same room as an SP404 or SP3. I'd seen an SP202 in a magazine when I was 15 or something. I couldn't afford that. I got a cheaper one. I got the Yamaha one because it's cheaper. So I didn't know how those all work for sure. Yeah. So it was that job actually when I went out and bought one of these things and thought okay, it's probably quite a good idea to do a sampler, because this is I can't enjoy it personally because it's too complicated, but it seems quite fun and people are having fun with it and there is something fun about it. So yeah.
Super interesting.
Mm.
That was because it did an incredible job. I don't know how. Don't know the numbers. I can't evaluate how massively spread Koala is. Just everybody in my friends and friends of friends. I'm responsible for all my friends that are into making music. I hooked all of them up to Koala and was telling them look, this is so much easier. And I think this is a general experience that people, as soon as they play with Koala, they, especially if they have previous experience with other samplers and machines, it's like, oh, this is fast.
Right.
You nailed so many workflows in terms of quickness.
I think just the sort of first thing of you can do something straight away without knowing what's going on. You just touch the screen and it records a sound. There's many very unintuitive things in Koala, but just the very basics. It's kind of like the drug dealer giving you a free sample.
Yes.
It's go that you can get. Yeah, just get someone in. That wasn't the intent. I mean, the intention was just to make something very easy to use. And I loved that the interaction of you touch, you touch one of those cells, one of the pads, and the sound that you make goes into the pad that you're touching. And then when you press it again, it makes that sound. I love that concept. I did it with the first sort of sample I did with that. It was using a QWERTY keyboard. So you press one key and it would record onto the key, and then you press it again and it would play it back. Really, and then you could fill your whole keyboard with sounds and then, mess with them and see if you can find some nice music. That's basically the sort of basics of Koala, right? So
the capture app?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is the OG, the granddaddy of Koala, isn't it? In that regard.
Yeah. I did try and make a sampler at university as well, or just after university, sort of when I'm making that synthesizer. And it was all because I just wanted to make jungle and hip hop music, and you couldn't I had a hardware sampler that was so shit. And to have I guess proper computers came along, but I couldn't use I suppose I could have spent some money and bought a software sampler or something, but didn't occur to me. I couldn't get the cracks, for the I don't know what sampler would have been good there. Logic for a while. When I was 15 or 16, you could get a crack for Logic before OS X came out, before Mac OS X came out. There was a crack, and then when everyone moved to Mac OS X, there was no crack, so I couldn't use Logic anymore, and that had a sampler in it. So it kind of cut me off in a way, and so I did try and write a sampler to kind of compensate for that. Because I had an Akai S2000. That's a rack unit with a floppy disk drive and stuff. It's awful. It's the experience of using that is it's a world of pain. If you want to change the sample name, you have to use a jog wheel and a button. Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Yep. No joke. It still puzzles me how there is this affection for vintage gear and vintage samplers because of the sound or whatever. Yeah. But it's also so tedious. It gets me so stressed to see people work. It's okay, let's sample in and put it on the pad. And 5 minutes later, we're still doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got no time for that. Also, I've just got Oh yeah, almost. Sorry, I'm going to have to go really soon. I'm sorry. Okay. I know we said 2 hours, but we're just a bit up against it. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a lot of reverence for all the analog vintage gear. It's quite cool, but I wouldn't spend loads of money on it. It says it's got Fender Rhodes. But, that's electromechanical. It's different.
That's different. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, all that voodoo stuff. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think if I just made music and I didn't have Koala or anything like that, I'd just make it just in Ableton with like just the Ableton instruments that are built in. It's fine. It's great. Even the sampler is brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're on your way there. Like Koala is, by now, it is a full-fledged DAW. There is not a lot missing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the main problem is just interface. Like all those sorts of features are like quite easy to add. Like a timeline would be really easy to add. It's just like, where do you put it? And like, how do you make it obvious and like not painful? And like, you know, let's have LFOs on, you know, every parameter. Yeah, cool. But how do you do it on like a really small phone screen? And how do you like not pollute what's there at the moment? And it's just like, it gets me. If I could work that out, we could program it easily. It would take a while, but we could program it easily. It's just working out those like how to keep Koala simple, but like make it complicated.
And so the reference is always the smallest screen size, I take it, right? So you're always considering.
I mean, like you have to be able to fit all the buttons on, and there are like rules about buttons. Like they have to be big enough that you can press them. They have to be identifiable, so you have to know what it does, or have an idea of some recall. So there's only so many buttons you can put on the screen. Like you can make the pads smaller, but then you're like compromising there. So there's got to be spacing. So this is the thing that like a lot of apps don't do. Is they don't have any spacing between anything. They just put everything right up next to each other. And it's good because you get to use more. Like Koala, like everything is spaced between each other. And it's good visually, as in it's distinctive. You know something is separate from another thing because there's a big gap between them. But it's not a very good use of space when you need, it's being kind of like, how do you say it? Like, it's a bit wasteful of space. It's being, it's using it liberally rather than being conservative with it, and because there's not enough space. Yeah.
Super interesting. And how many iterations do you go to? Like to this day, do you start on paper and then continue into prototyping and then this?
Yeah, that's what I did initially. I still do draw some pictures. On paper, and then like in Figma usually, and then that's a good way to work things out and do lots and lots of, like for Quokka, I didn't do loads of variations, but I like to keep track of the variations. So like you just like work on your best idea for the design, and then you copy that, and then you improve it, and then you copy it and improve it, and you like say, okay, this last design I would like make notes next to it saying like, oh yeah, you can't really understand this or that, and then you try and solve it in the next iteration. But yeah, I like that approach for sure.
Figma is great for that, and then you transition it into like you translate it into code, correct? Into your live compiling environment. Your C++.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll use that, but it's not easy to use it inside a big project. So it depends on what we're doing. But yeah, sometimes we'll use that for like developing like sort of very visual things like waveforms or something like that. Like it's good for like making a little sketch. I don't know if you ever used like processing or P5JS. Have you heard of that? No, it's just like a live coding environment on the web that you can kind of like draw circles and shapes and like work out things basically on your feet, and rather than waiting for a compile and run sort of thing. I mean, I guess you can kind of do it with like just hot reloading of like an HTML page now.
I was interested in how you market Koala. Is it just like word of mouth, the community?
Yeah, don't market it. Done a few things at the beginning. I did like there's a magazine called OK Player, which is like Questlove's magazine. He's like the drummer from The Roots.
Right.
I just sent it, like, I just typed into you make a press pack. This is what you're supposed to do. I don't know if I read this somewhere or just thought this is what you do. Like, you make a press pack. So that's like a PDF and some pictures. You write the article for the person. Like, that's what journalists love. They love copying and pasting like an article or a blog post out of a PDF. And you give them the pictures and then just send it to loads of people. So like a few people wrote it. So that's marketing. And then there was this stroke of luck, which was a pandemic, and like musicians trying to play out. And then I made this thing where you can change your background image. So I really don't like the default colors of Koala, but I can't change them. I don't want to. And that was good advertising, because then people want to show their work in Koala. They want to like make a screen recording of it. And that was DiBiase's. So DiBiase. So I had the background image, and then what happened was like DiBiase had like this video playing in the background of his track, which was just the clouds from the Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. And it's like, there's quite a famous artwork by this guy called Cory Archangel. He also hacked the Nintendo just to do this thing or whatever. And I just thought, like, shit, if I could make a thing that would like make those clouds move in the back of Koala, like, so you load your picture and then it would just scroll it around. It's like really simple. And I think that's probably the best marketing thing they ever do. Because then people are like, oh, what app is that? People they want to share their music more at that point. So it sort of taps well into the visual. Yeah.
That's amazing.
No advertising, no marketing. Yeah, you got one of the fancy teenage engineering microphones.
That's right.
I caved in. I got the tape recorder just because it's sort of like such a weird sort of tangible tactile object, with the moving platter and stuff like that. But
yep.
Yeah, I can't face the well, basically I won't use it. So I mean, I don't even use a tape recorder. I like it. I like sort of playing with it occasionally, but I'm not going to use it to make music.
Not to make, but I do use it a shit ton to record, because with the mixer together, they it is so seamless. The 6-track recording, like I have all the sources connected to the mixer. It's just it's just this vibey tape recording situation. I guess it's very different. I tried to pull this off with the RPi, but after many frustrating hours, I was like, fuck it. I won't just sit. This is just like a record and it's done. It's handled with, while
trying to record into the USB or something.
Yeah, and that was the end of that line, simply because out of the box, or at least like with the tools I tried, I was never able to connect even like 3 sources. So the OG OP1, the new OP1 field, and the SP have different resolutions.
Yeah.
And they kicked each other out for whatever reason. Like
it's complicated. Everything has, like, I don't know. I never have to deal with stuff like that, but I know that it's complicated, and there's like quality considerations of like it's synchronizing and all this sort of stuff. I don't know.
Which means, this is something where, like, since doing this, I have great respect for companies that do manage to release hardware that is actually an AirPi. It's like all the move and stuff, those things.
Yeah.
Like,
what's it? The one that I saw recently is that Torso Electronics one. The S4 thing.
Yeah.
That's also a Pi inside.
Yeah.
And that's expensive. It's like for the fact that it's a Pi with some buttons and a screen, it's 900 euros, and it's really fucking cool. Like, I went the guy who basically designed it and programmed it was that I went to Super Booth last couple of weeks ago, and he taught me through all the bits. And yeah, there's some magic in there. It's very clever, like some really nice ideas. But €900 is a lot. I mean, for what it is, I know a little bit about how it was manufactured because I'm also met at the same place. There was a guy he's from Poland, and he makes basically enclosures, metal enclosures, and they're beautiful enclosures, and he can do all these different kinds of finishes and different thicknesses of metal, and so the case is made in Poland. It's expensive. It's expensive. What it is. At least for engineering, it's like everything is so custom tooling, and also it's small. You know, like the basically the thing that decides the size of the OP1 field is like the dimensions of your finger and how many buttons they need. Everything else is like, it's the human factors that decide everything with that. Whereas like a lot of other designs, especially these ones that just go into metal boxes like that Torso S4, it's like, well, that's how big we needed to make it for our electronics. And that's not okay, I reckon, in design world. It's like really, I mean, it can be acceptable, but it's just, the real driver behind every single design decision should be the human and nothing to do with like, oh, well, the technology needs it. Like, yeah.
Would you say like it's not justified, the price of the torso thing?
Well, I'd say if the move is like very similar, they're making more volume for sure. So they can basically get the price down, and they sell so many, so they can afford to have a smaller margin. But yeah, I would say it feels like 900 is the new 600 or something. And it's like the components cost the same price. Maybe the enclosure costs more. I don't know.
So I'm explaining this to myself with the development cost. Like they're trying to make the money back. Similar to what is the name? The Nanook? I think the Nanook. Also little blocks, very powerful from the software standpoint. And they made a bunch of controllers, all of them in this like high tier price range, the TE type of situation, where my way of thinking is like, well, they put all this time, they're trying to make the money back for the development, kind of justify spending years.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I sort of agree. I guess you could also compare that S4 to a polyend tracker because they look so similar. Like, I mean, definitely, it's taken many cues from there, and that has the price point of that has sort of fallen through the floor. Like, it was very cheap. I guess it's been out for a long time, but like I guess that's. Price is one of the features of a thing, especially with teenage engineering. It's like, oh, it's expensive. It better be good then, So, yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting, and it's a beautiful thing. And I know it looks a lot like the tracker, the polyend tracker, but in terms of like crazy ideas inside it does stand out. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah, it's actually quite limited. I think the pricing is kind of also trying to be in the range of a similar bigger thing, but it's just a little bit smaller. Like a proper granular synth or wavetable synth would be something comparable, I guess. And then a proper keyboard is always like $1,000. So
yeah,
we'll be somewhere there just to make ourselves adjacent.
yeah. I don't know why I don't like. I don't really buy any stuff. Like I bought the that little Roland P6 sampler, which is very cheap, but I haven't really used it because I don't really it's too complicated. Don't really understand it. And I got one of those. What's it called? Like the Arturia.
Oh, the Mini Freak.
This thing, yeah, and it's been fun so far, but I can see it's got a lot of dust on it because I've only plugged it in like 2 times. So yeah, you know.
That guy is great though. The Mini Freak I love a lot. That's such a powerful synth.
Yeah, I mean, I heard very good things about it, and I like the fact that it's got a digital oscillator in it. Because you can have pretty wild, interesting things in there. And Arturia, they're bright bunch of people, so you know, it's like maybe one of the best products of a good, clever bunch of engineers. So, and I got the haven't tried it out, but I bought the microphone, the gooseneck microphone for it.
The vocoder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, got to try it out. Yeah.
What that thing does really well is the arpeggiator. Like, it's a small feature. It's nothing like, it's not the major feature of a synth, but the arpeggiator is so flexible in there. The way the how you can configure it to make things is just like way more powerful than the regular arpeggiators that I have at my disposal with the OP boxes or something. Like they're quite limited. This guy is a beast.
Oh, cool! I did play with it. I can't remember. I remember it had some like unusual features. Yeah, like I've always wanted to put one in Koala. It just haven't got around to it. But I do love a good arpeggiator. It's like it's so fun to sort of jam with one. You know, it sort of makes music, and that hold feature as well. When you just put a chord down, you just let it go, and then tweak the parameters. You're basically making music at that point. You know, it's like. Yeah, it's a kind of therapy. It's really nice. So yeah, I need Quokka needs an arpeggiator, or like just Koala in general. Yeah.
How is this process actually? How do you prioritize those features? Because I imagine you have like quite a backlog of stuff.
Yeah. There's loads and loads of ideas. I think like some of them are like, oh, I've got one idea to do. You know, like multi-sampling. So you can basically have, you know, layers and sort of regions and zones of samples and stuff like that. And it's just like, that would be high-ish priority, but it's such a long project to kind of retrofit it into Koala that kind of don't want to go there yet. Like what so in contrast, some things that go in are like things that I think I can do quickly that will have the most effect. I don't know. Like the sample pack store got sort of pushed back so much for like years. I meant to do it, and then I think I just told myself I'm not allowed to add another feature to Koala until I've done the sample pack store, because like it's probably good business sense to do that, you know. And I didn't want to do it, and it was fucking boring. But now it's done, and hopefully we can do some more sample packs. But don't really have a strong process, but it's a combination of how difficult is it to do, how many people will it benefit. So you know, basically AUV3 features are usually quite low priority because, you know, something like, I don't know, 1% of sessions are in AUM. So it's like, like if you're trying to work out where you can put the most, you know, get the most like benefit for your effort, then working on something that more people are going to use is better.
If you hit that, it opens up the Koalaverse, which is the name for the Koala Sample Pack store.
And you're saying a sound pack thing was boring. You introduced like a whole idea of those toys, which is I love it so much because it makes those packs so different from what the sound pack normally is.
Of course, and that's why I did it. Like basically, that was the fun bit for sure. And the reason they're there is it's like more for me than for for the users. It's so twofold. One I felt like the sort of like greedy corporate like guilt feeling of like this. I've got like this kind of this, some users in a pen, and I can put something in front of them for sale, and I felt, in sample packs, it's just, I don't even believe in sample packs, to be honest. I think people should go and find their own samples, but it's something, if I've got some stuff and I want to get, maybe another person to help me, making some money is quite good. So I had to do it. And the only way I could do it is make it a bit more difficult for myself by having to do these kind of like, they're not artworks, but they're sort of like just, creations that are not supposed to be practical. They're supposed to be fun, and like they're literally toys, right? And I had to do that to make it so as well as if people didn't like the sample packs, then at least they get a free toy with it, so they can't really complain. Well, it's not about complaining, but they can't feel disappointed because at least they'll get the toy, if you see what I mean. So I'm sure some people are disappointed because someone is always bloody disappointed with stuff. That's why I did it. Why the toys are there. The toys are there to make me feel less bad about the fact that it's, it's sort of, it definitely on the outside of it looks like a money making enterprise. It's a store.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a feature that will get most people excited because it's like, hopefully there's a lot of people who like bringing their own samples, but yeah, I know a lot of people like, using sample packs and stuff like that.
It's at least from my conversations, this is obviously no statistical value at this, but the easiest way to explain those things were the toys. It's very much in line with what you just said, like bring your own samples. The most people I exchange beats with, they go like, what for? Why do I need new samples? Because we got them. But there is this toy. It makes and it's very easy to explain that it's not like, this is nothing for your master chain. This is just fun. Just look at this. Just press buttons there. I think you managed that part, executed that one really well, because those, you don't have to, you can explain them in a weird way. Right? This is this, like you type in and it talks. How silly is this? We just start typing in some silly stuff and have fun with this. Those things, they convert really well. They translate really well when trying to explain it to someone. Because yes, I do again, it's just not me as well in terms I'm good on samples. There's so many samples.
Yeah. And also I have some samples from from like 25 years of making electronic music, and I kind of like the fact that I've got this folder of old drums that was on a CD-ROM that like a friend burnt, with some pirate software on it as well, and like that's got a connect. I've got a connection with those sounds, and I guess that's a sample pack in a way. There's some sort of pirated sample pack or someone else's like collection on their hard drive. I love those ones. And finding sounds and making your own sounds, that's like part of the fun of it, and like building up your set of sounds, and it's part of your identity. But like, yeah, I guess, like there is this whole massive market for, for sample packs. There's also at the very extreme end, there's a market of like people who just take loops and join them together. Like that's what GarageBand was supposed to be. And there's like, that's good for some people. For me, I'm just like, fuck that. Like, it's so depressing. And basically, Koala can't really do that very well for people. So that's really nice for me. It's just sort of like, so it's like if you want to like join some loops together, use something else. Like Koala is just not very fun, in that way. So yeah, that's good in a way.
On that, so I had a bunch of interesting conversations with artists being very, well, not afraid, but there is this AI thing going on where it upsets a lot of people because it's like I literally, like, you can make a song in Suno in 10 seconds and it will be decent, but it's also, yeah, what's your take on this? Like, how is AI going to impact artistry, or how is it going to change the artistic space?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one. Like, I mean, there's like there's like a performative thing of music that I think will just like never go away. Like, just trying to think of an example. Like, you can get a keyboard to play you, like a MIDI keyboard to play you a perfect, rendition of Chopin Scherzo #1 that's like, or like one of those player pianos even that has like it's a real piano, and the notes go down, like what they call disclavier keyboards. Yeah, you could even record the best pianist in the world playing it into a MIDI file. So it's more or less you're watching the best player in the world play it on a piano, but there's no player there because you're replaying the MIDI. But people, like, that's not what's in a concert hall. It's the person in the concert hall. Like, there's a thing about people coming together to do that. So there's this one performative thing, which is like, it doesn't solve the problem of, let's say, recorded music. But like, for me, that says like, there's a place for human in performance and creativity. It's the same with dancing as well. Like, you could get a robot to do 20 backflips, but watching someone like you do it, who's not you, that's like something you can't really, like there's a whole mechanism of you seeing like not a mirror of yourself, but like a fellow person who's like, taken a different path in life, and they spent, all their lives, dedicating themselves to be able to play something, and you're lucky enough to like experience the sort of sum and total of that, There's that. But the recorded music, I really don't know. Like, I do know that whilst the music sounds really nice, I haven't actually heard a bit of Suno music that I've enjoyed. I haven't listened to any recently, but like it's just trying to make like the most kind of like average kind of music. And I would say, as a musician, I don't think I would enjoy pressing the button and go like, make that music, and then I don't have to make the music because I'm not expressing myself. It's not me, it's someone else. It's like someone singing a song where they didn't write the lyrics. I know that happens a lot, and actually a lot of the time people do sing other people's songs beautifully, but like I like the metaphor. So in terms of like people struggling to make music rather than just pressing a button to be like, can I, like, the process of ChatGPT, you put in a bad thing and then it makes it good. Maybe there's something in that, but there's also something in, just like the struggle and the sort of pain of making music that like makes it better or makes it worse in a better way, or all that sort of stuff. As for like the business side of it, I mean, musicians have been like screwed for like forever. I feel like this is just like another nail in the coffin. You know, like people trying to make like not even a living, just like have an existence by spending time to do music. Like it's so tough, and this is just I just see it as this will make it a little bit tougher for like, especially for like professional musicians. Trying to get points for like music on adverts or YouTube videos or something like that. It'll make it that little bit tougher for them, I guess. But they've already been screwed so many times, screwed from everywhere. Like the record labels screw them, the fans screw them, by downloading the music illegally or whatever. Well, I mean, like, I guess when you download music illegally, the people it really hurts is the record labels, who like generally scumbags. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so it is bad, but it's like it's already bad. I guess that's my point. It's interesting, like the possibilities of what AI can do. I haven't like seen any like stem splitting is like it's sort of cool, but yeah, I haven't really sort of got excited by any AI music stuff yet. I wanna. Oh, actually, that synth plant thing, synth plant 2. I don't know if you've seen that.
Mm-hmm. There's the instrument, basically.
Yeah.
That's an interesting application. To that point, I think I was trying to think of like what kind of synthesis can we come up with. We made the subtractive, we made the modular, we made the additive, we made the wavetables, the FM. What else? AI is actually legit. Like I accept that as a proper, like this is a new way of a synthesis.
Yeah, for sure. Sort of direct synthesis.
Just creates, synthesizes sound. And
I mean, like that is like a cool idea, and like it uses like, I think a lot of AI music generation kind of uses spectral technology to like make the sound. So they use like a thing called an FFT, like just lots of sine waves at different frequencies, changing their volumes and stuff like that. But yeah, like to train a neural network to like directly just play sounds out of that. That could be really cool if you made it like a really naive neural network, rather than making it sort of try to make something as super, sophisticated as like a perfect Moog synthesizer. What if you quantized it so it, it was low resolution, it kind of made some mistakes, and yeah, that'd be interesting. The lo-fi version of it or something could be cool.
Yeah, I think I do agree a lot on this struggle part. Basically, the story of the human making the music is something that AI just simply cannot provide. It provides an output. It doesn't provide a lifetime of struggling and exploring these ideas and pushing yourself to do something different. So I think this is the lead, like, this is not even part of the conversation. It's interesting on the consumer side. That I don't actually know, because again, just today we had this conversation that to me, as someone who cares for a certain style of music and who cares for lyrics, the music generated by Suno is like, first of all, it's not that it automatically makes it a poppy song, because that's the average. Like, this is what works. Actually, the lyrics got much better from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's now actually like, it's scary because it's just one sentence. I prompted it to make lyrics about AI making me more work than it should take off, and it made like a coherent song with interest, like with a few interesting lines in there as well, where it was like, shit, this wasn't supposed to happen. I actually like those. So I don't actually know whether it will suffice for the regular listener, especially when it's passive listening, when it's something that you are not actively, like you're not engaged into lyrics, but rather just in the background.
So that's really interesting. I was just thinking of like, so my main thing that I'm listening to now is just like jazz music of Brazil from the like 50s, 60s, 70s, and part of what I like about it is the sort of escapism of it, and like there's a historical. I don't want to say like historical, but it's like it's kind of like listening to the Beatles. It was made a long time ago, and to know that it was made when it was made. It's like you could listen to a song that sounds like it was made a long time ago, and people do that all the time. There's lots of music that's trying to sound like something that was recorded in the 60s, but there's something about the moment. I guess it's again that performative thing. There's something about that moment when they were there, like these like famous, what's that, the I should know, like the Brazilian guitarist, like at one point he sat down in this sort of like crazy 60s Brazil like chaos or whatever, and then he played this beautiful song, and it sounds bad because the technology was not so good, and like the microphone was damaged or whatever, and it's just got all of that, and that's real. It's like it's a time capsule. It's like a photograph, and it's like you can look at a photograph of someone and you can identify them with them. If someone told you it's an AI photo, it's just like, well, like that didn't happen then, and like your feeling about it, your connection to it is like, I mean, for me, it's totally different. Like maybe for other people, they can be like, oh, it doesn't matter whether it's real or not. And I guess it depends on what you're doing, but yeah, like if it's something that never existed, it's just like it sort of takes some meaning away from it. And same with the music. Like if you started listening to music that was made by an AI, like I don't know. What if no one ever heard it again as well? That's another one. It's like it's a piece of music that was made just for you, and it will get deleted after you hear it, and no one else will ever hear it again. And it's like, I guess it's so you're objectively having a nice time when you're listening. Like, oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, cool. And then it vanishes into the ether. You get a different thing when you hear something that's like many people have heard before, the collective.
When you connect, the social component, I think, is very, very powerful in art. If anything, I also think that the performative element will become even more valuable. So like live shows and actually artists making music over time consistently.
It could be. I guess we saw that a lot with like, when the sort of like when music kind of moved to streaming, like I guess they sort of said people would start playing out. And I think the main thing that I saw was record labels not making enough money, so they started putting big artists on big world tours, making the tickets much more expensive and taking a cut of the tickets, which was like maybe a little bit less conventional, pre-streaming, the 360 deals or whatever. It's like, the artists get fucked again,
Pretty much.
I mean, so I mean, I think it's good, different kinds of music work better live, like definitely, ones with like real instruments I enjoy more personally, like to go and see something live rather than someone sort of hunched over an SP404. Like it's still cool, but like the feeling you get with like, people like physically expressing themselves, with an instrument, like hitting drums. Like drums is like one of the best things, to be in the room with real drums. Actually, last night I went to a classical concert, and it's a big one. And we were sitting like quite close to the orchestra, but just off to the side. And it was such a. I think they had like 8 double basses, 8 cellos, like 1 million violins. I don't know how many, just so many, but it's like huge. And then like at one point in the music, the whole orchestra stopped, and then just behind me, there was we didn't even know this was happening, but like 2 meters behind me or us, there was 6 French horn players, and they just played one line, and they played like or something like that, all in the same timing but in harmony, and it was just like I shed a tear, man. It sent shivers down my spine. It was the most beautiful thing to be in a room with those people, kind of like breathing into these things that resonate, that make your ears move, your hair moves, your stomach moves, like your bits wobble, and like, and it's like people are doing it to you, in a way, which is like so cool. Whereas like it's more difficult to create that visceral experience with a sampler, I guess, or electronically. I guess it's definitely still possible, but that was pure magic. That was really, really nice.
Yeah, the live performance as such has this combination of music that you already connect with and share with somebody, and it being performed in front of you with all the premises of like it could go wrong, something could not work out, people change up the sets, they constantly explore, like every concert is different, so you're waiting for those moments where things will shift, or the unexpected element of it is, I think, very, very important as well. When it's electronic music, when people are playing sets of their computer, basically, these days.
But yeah, I think like basically culture will adapt somehow. Like I don't know which way it will go, but like definitely people won't stop making music. I think just in so like you just hear these sort of stories about people losing their jobs because they were replaced with ChatGPT or whatever. Yeah, it's gonna, like, I think it's gonna happen to a greater or lesser extent. I know like people are prone to hyperbolic descriptions of the future because it's sensational, and maybe it will happen. I don't know, like, but definitely, yeah, like saying that it's like gonna be disastrous for lots of people. It's a great propaganda, like pro AI company propaganda, to be like, this thing is like that powerful, but I guess the Industrial Revolution did it once, and like basically life ended up sort of getting better for most people. Like, I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but it's like 100 years ago, if you wanted to have 3 children, you had 6 because 3 would make it. Like, imagine, obviously that still happens to some people today, but by and large, you don't, like the gift of modern medicine and the fact that you don't have to do some sort of job that might shorten your life or damage your life or whatever like that. It's like it's quite good. So I don't know what I don't know how it will land, but I think things will work out, and we'll just be slaves to the AI. What?
It will use artificial intelligence to try and split out the individual tracks of the song. So
what's your experience so far?
Yeah, like, I mean, I like the it sort of does sort of like code completion mode, which is very helpful even in C++. It's like totally fine, and I do use that sort of ChatGPT to do stuff that, like, I think I could definitely do, but I just feel like I don't want it. That sounds boring, and it's like quite short, concise things. Make like like I use it for Python scripts, and you can basically just describe a Python script in a couple of sentences, and then it gives you 50 lines, and then you're basically off to the races. And it's like, if it doesn't work, it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, I've used it lots and lots. But definitely I've been in exactly the same situation as you, where you're basically, sometimes it gets stubborn and it sort of decides it knows better. And it's based on a hallucination or something like that, and it's like, yeah, awful. I haven't tried the sort of bigger. Well, I have tried, but not in Koala, for instance. I've tried the sort of cursor style thing where it's actually writing files and creating files and stuff like that. It's great for a Kanban board website or something, but to write a C++ music app, yeah, I mean, it's like, and like if you think of like some code bases really have so much source code, so much interdependency, 100,000 lines of code or something like that, where you have to kind of know roughly what's happening in most of the code. It's just going to be larger than the context, or it's just not going to know where to spread its attention well. So yeah, it's like, it is bloody brilliant, and it's really saved me so much time, but it's not the answer to everything yet. I'm definitely not worried about someone coming along and making a competitor to Koala or something
in an evening. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like just as an aside to that, and I know they have made like UX AI bots or whatever, but like, yeah, I think designers are probably one of the last sort of like non-physical activity things that AI can really go after, because it's like you're basically playing the role of being a human and trying to work out what a human would most want. And that's like, yeah, that's like literally the holy grail of like, an AI would be that. I think that's the last thing that it's ever going to get. Yeah, taken away.
It certainly wouldn't come up with the name Koala for a sampler.
yeah, for sure.
How did you actually? How did you settle with the name
Koala?
So, my dad, when I was born, he wanted to call me Kodak. Like the camera, or like the film company. I don't know if they made cameras as well. But like, it's because he heard that names with K's in them are quite powerful. And my mum was like, yeah, no way. So I got Marek, because it's got a K at the end. And I think I always remember that story. I just found it funny. And in the past, like every time I come up with a name for something, it's always been like a portmanteau, when you take two words and you kind of mash them together. Like, I don't know, like the first app that I made was called Sample Toy. Sample, it's a toy. Play with your samples, and like loads of things I've done like that. And I just feel like proper names should have, I mean, just detach yourself and go with a word that's cool. Don't try and like, like the classic one of like taking out a letter like flicker without the E, or, all this sort of stuff. Like, just like come out with a word that sounds cool. Oh, it's an animal. In hindsight, it's brilliant because there's an emoji for it, but it's like, it's quite short. It begins with a K. That's enough, Like, I don't know. I think maybe my other half came up with it. I don't know. But yeah, there's no connection to Australia or anything. It's just like, it's a word, man. It's like a word. It's a word that sounds nice when you say it. Don't need a reason.
And there is an emoji. Yep. It's just like things connected. The universe responded because it is now like this subcultural thing. The koala emoji to those who know, they know what is meant by that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, I would say if you ever make an app and you're trying to look for a name, like look through the emoji. Start there. Maybe you could use like two emojis. Uh, yeah, yeah.
And
Like
therefore, I take it Quokka was the like you are now building type of a brand in this area of
yeah.
furry things.
I think basically Paul, the guy I employ, he wanted like a code name for the project. And I said, how about Quokka? Because I knew about, there's supposed to be the cutest animal or whatever. And then to be honest, I couldn't be bothered to think of a proper name for it, and it wasn't a bad name. So it's nice. I like saying it. It sounds nice. So, but yeah, it wasn't, because really there's these two strands of like sort of personality to koala. There's the fluffy animal koala thing, and then you've got the samurai, like the ninja, which is like it could have gone a little bit down there, but I don't know. I was going to a bit more, but it was kind of boring. And I think in the future I'm going to add more kind of instruments, and it's annoying to have them have. I think it'd be better to have my descriptive. If I did like a granular one, I think I would just call it grains or something, so you can, it's a bit easier to identify what it is, rather than. I think we can have one quokka, but like the MIDI out is called MIDI out. I didn't call it like Wombat. Wombat is like Project Wombat is like the looper that I've always wanted to make that I'll never make. So it's called Wombat. But I just haven't. Oh no, I had this other name for it, hula looper. Like a hula hoop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't. You haven't really worked on that. So.
But it's still in the. Is it still on the table? The looper thing?
Probably not. I like every 2 years I like open up the project and like do an extra day or two on it or something like that. But maybe I'll just make a looper into Koala now, because the like the instruments thing. Like now you it's not just samples. There's like there's an infrastructure to have any kind of thing on a pad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it, but for instance, you could have like an AUV3 instrument on a pad or something like that. And there's a conceptual model for it now. So yeah, one of those pads could be a looper or a grains thing. Or I was just thinking today, like a nice one would be just like a non-destructive like sample chop thing. So
Slicer.
Yeah, slicer, exactly, a slicer. And there's like loads of things you can do with slicers that are interesting. You can what can you do? Yeah, loads of things. Yeah.
Well, granular, at least it sounds like something that is already like in parts. It's basically there. Is it that much of a stretch technically?
No. Technically, it's very easy. I mean, there's some caveats in that. Like, if you want to have a lot of density, as in like loads of grains, there are technical challenges to making it like optimized, so you can have a lot
Performant.
Yeah, exactly. And those tasks are like quite boring, but like quite well defined. It's not like difficult. It's just it takes a while. But when I say a while, I reckon could probably knock out the sort of performance stuff in a couple of days. But the bit that I'm struggling with at the moment is trying to design something that's fun, that doesn't have a lot of controls. And like, I think having not that many controls is quite easy, and like a lot of granular synths don't have like loads and loads of controls. I think I was playing the torso one I was looking at, and there's like the 1010 music lemon drop, which is like
the small box, right?
Yeah. And a few other ones are sort of just, I watched YouTube videos of like, there's this box called Tasty Chips GR1, which is like a hardware granular synthesizer. It's amazing. It's really nice. But yeah, just trying to distill nice things that I find in YouTube videos of granular synthesizers because I'm not going to go and buy it. And then like trying to implement them, making mistakes, finding things out about the mistakes, or really like digging in and going like, why don't we try doing it this way, or try what, like just trying to find something that's going to be like fun, and like when you turn a knob, you hear it rather than, you know, things going dead. Just like something that's like interactive, fun, dynamic, and like also versatile, so like you can really get lots of different kinds of sounds out of it very quickly. I think that's the challenge. I've got like, so I think you may have seen like a demo in the Beta Mafia chat. So there's definitely bits and pieces like pretty much done. It's just there needs to be kind of a bit of a exploration phase at the moment. And yeah, I'm sure there's like loads of fun things to do with it. And also it's got to have like a koala twist to it somehow. But I think it's coming out. It's coming out. Like starting to work out a few ideas about it.
And I think, I think I asked you this on Discord as well before, in terms of, you mentioned AUV3 is just like 1%. And then you said the Android crowd is actually much less expectant of what Koala should do, isn't it? Like, is there?
Yeah, they got less. They got lower standards for sure. Like, I mean, to be honest, like, you know, for the most part, there's pretty much parity. But yeah, there are some. Yeah, I mean, they don't have AUV3 on. You know, they don't have a plugin format on Android. And some people, you know, say it's my problem that that Apple haven't brought AUV3 to Android, and like Gematica hasn't put AUM on Android. But yeah, you know. But yeah, for the most part, people are like quite accepting. They're quite like. I think the other day I was trying to install Koala on a test device, and I opened up Google Play Store, which is the App Store, and tried to click the search bar, and the app crashed. Like the like system app for finding apps crashed. And this is like, so in my head I'm thinking, well, Android users are used to apps that are supposed to work just crashing. Like, you know, system settings on an iPhone doesn't crash. The messages that, I mean, maybe it has crashed, but the number of times the stock Google apps have crashed, I'm like, what in the world is going on? This is madness. Like, this is one bit that they can get perfectly right. Like, is it? Who knows? Who knows why it happens?
I didn't expect that, because my assumption was always like, since we do have all those other different apps, like I'm never bothered with Koala doing anything outside of this. Like, I don't need more plugins in there or something, because it's so convenient to do this in AUM. Just load it up and load up whatever you need additionally on a specific channel, record the multi-track, like it's done. It fits into this ecosystem of all those different apps working together. That I was thinking, like, probably the Android people want this to be in Koala, but you never know.
Well, that was a little bit like the mixer was sort of an antidote to like AUM for some people, you know, because you have like, at least for like a bit of mixing, and like, you know, you want to compress your like snare and kick in the same channel. You want some reverb on something. You have a little bit of. I mean, it's not as flexible, but for sure. But you know, it's like it's much better than not having it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's about, you know, it's very much in line with what how TE again handles stuff. They just give you the 4 tracks on the OP1, and you have to deal with this and get creative with this. So there is this creative part that gets released if you have those limitations that are kind of that allow you to do more.
Yeah.
Exactly, the creative constraint is, and it's beautiful as it is right now. I was also, I think you mentioned this, that like you could potentially do 8 tracks in there.
Yeah. Well, on an iPad for sure. On a small iPhone screen in portrait, it's really mostly about the UI. And also, it does like manage expectations in terms of like how many effects you can have, and like how CPU intensive everything's going to be, which I kind of like a little bit. But yeah, you could have 8. It is just a variable. It's just a number. But as in, it's just a number in the program. But there's also, it's just like probably UI is the biggest one. It's just how much screen space do you have?
What's the ratio of mobile users and iPad users? Do you have a?
I think it's about 10% is iPad user, so 90% iPhone.
Crazy. This is amazing. Yeah, so you're basically, very interesting to kind of poke in that, like the decisions that you make are based on numbers that regular people, like, I would never believe that.
Yeah. Oh man.
90s.
I mean, if like, if I could just go on if it was just on the iPad, I'd have all this space. Koala would have so many more features, and it would do so many more things by now. But it's just been like phone first, like concentrating on, like the iPad doesn't have anything that the iPhone, doesn't have. Like all the features have parity everywhere, and it does suffer. I think like. I thought before there was quite a like a programming bottleneck, and there is, but I think more and more pressing every month becomes this sort of design bottleneck, and I think something big needs to change in Koala to try and accommodate for things like how many channels do you want. There's like, if I wanted to do automation, there's questions of like, how would you record automation on a control? Because you're not really supposed to be recording on a sample page. So, and even then, there's no space for a record button on this. It's full. The screen is full on an iPhone. So there are ways to redesign it, but I have got to be very careful not to sort of mess things up to make
Very
it.
good.
It's still got.
Have you ever thought of branching it out and having like a tablet version, like the Pro version, Koala Pro, and then the regular Koala, or is it?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I thought about it. Or like. Yeah, well, even like a desktop thing. I was thinking. The classic thing to do now is to put Studio after whatever your thing is, like FL Studio, Serato Studio, but I would go with 2000. So it would be like Koala 2000 or 3000, I don't know. Or maybe that would be pretty cool. And I've had like some thoughts about how it would work and stuff like that, but I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet. But yeah, I would like to make it work on a phone. And I think also, to be honest, what's happened is Koala's just been built up upon very basic design that was done, to basically serve a purpose, which was like this quick sampling, fart noises. And Koala's a bit different now, so it might be interesting to like not design from the ground up, but just like revisit some assumptions, and try like I've done a few like slightly crazy designs that aren't good, but they like challenge, yeah, like challenge what's there, and like maybe I can change something without like fucking it up too much. I don't know. Yeah, I can always ask people what they think and stuff. So yeah, I think that's coming up in the next sort of couple of months, is to like just go back to pen and paper and see if there's a way to make a better design for today.
Is there, like, do you have a part that you're super uncomfortable, that you avoid a lot? So
I mean, I do have this thing of like, you know, sometimes like delegating work to other people has not gone so well, and there's some bits of the code that I've generally tried to let go. And this is like, you know, a thing that you must have experienced a lot, like where you basically have to like, some part of your quality control must be sort of relinquished, and you have to be like okay when someone doesn't do what you expected them to do, because there was a communication failure, or because they just didn't have that skill, or whatever it was. So like I'm scared of that, all of that stuff a little bit, and I've been trying more and more, but like I've had quite a lot of failures like that, which is like a bit frustrating. Yeah, like I think I'm hesitating to like bring more people in as well, because there's a few. I mean, probably I could pay someone for a month or two, and then there would be a Windows VST version of Koala or whatever. Maybe I should do that. Like as a business, that's like maybe it's a sensible move. I don't know, product wise, I don't know if it's a good fit, because Koala's like a touch based app, and I don't know how well it would lend itself to being. I know a lot of people do use it on a computer, but yeah, and then there's the piracy thing as well. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things to manage there,
to consider.
Yeah, but I think sort of bringing more people on. I think that's the bit where I could probably take a bit more of a risk. And also I just feel uncomfortable trying to find people. I think I've had basically 2 permanent staff in the past, one at a time. One was bad, one is good. Then freelancers, I've been sort of quite lucky with like very good day rates or whatever, but can't keep them. But yeah, so it's like finding the right people, finding the right person, like finding someone who's like got at least a little bit of passion for it is really, really important. That sort of motivation in a small company. This is not like Google, where you get tickets and you do your tickets and then you go home and you collect your bonus and stuff like that. It's a different. You've got to have, and also the salary's not a Google salary,
But I think it's actually it shouldn't be underestimated how people respond to actual purpose in the job.
Mm-hmm.
You will take the cuts in salary if the job is fulfilling and you are appreciated, and
impact,
exactly, that you are actually making a difference. It might be tiny, you're not changing the world, you're not changing how billions of people work, but even if it's the slightest impact where you feel the appreciation, it has a much higher value than a Google level income. That's cool. There are people who value that more, like the security, the safety, and the money of a job. But there are enough people who are just hungry for.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like meaning, well, like the yeah, like, yeah, like I don't know if it's appreciation is the right word, but like yeah, like adding value to the world a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. People like money though. People really like money. But yeah, I guess I need to go out there and see if I can find some more people. I can sort of afford it for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Well, there is your uncomfortable part with this. Like, I think this is.
Thanks for,
you will find a way. Like being driven there will make you find a way to make it work.
Yeah. So that
Cool
could
stuff.
be it. I don't know where else. I feel like I don't want to go. Like, I don't feel uncomfortable about like not doing like marketing or whatever like that, because it's just I feel like it's only got a limited ability to like help you sell stuff, you know. So I think and sort of sticking, it's a good experiment in like, what if you just like concentrated on making the product good rather than doing the marketing? Or maybe you can do both or whatever, but
Yeah, another thing that I think a lot of people will appreciate is the sidechain. So,
all right. Well, yeah,
right.
leave it to it. Yeah, great talking, man, and speak soon.
See you soon. Have a good one.